Hello. So let's get started. So these are the subjects I'm going to cover today. So I'm going to give you an introduction, then sort of my ethos on training, sort of the mission that I'm trying to achieve, and the importance of training with a neurological injury or condition. We're then going to cover balance. That's one of the subjects that keeps coming up, and also dizziness. We'll then have conclusions and finish up with a Q&A. Nice and simple, and hopefully the technology stays good to me. So about me, you got to listen about me for a little bit, but so I'm a personal trainer. I've worked in neuro physiotherapy for over 10 years now, and I run a company called The Movement Coach. I worked in a gym in Melbourne, in just outside Cambridge, for over 10 years, called Prime Physio, and now I've moved down to Brighton, where I work in a studio overlooking the sea, which is lovely. And yeah, so it's really good. Learned plenty of skills while I'm there. I've done a lot of work with FES, so functional electrical stimulation. Learned to adapt and improvise, and yeah, I've got a wide range of experience with all sorts of injuries and conditions. I also trained with ARNI, which is a specific stroke qualification, sports massage, and sort of, yeah, very specialist, like worked with a lot of specialist equipment in terms of neurology, and yeah, it's good, enjoy it. So yeah, 10 years, and I'm 28, so yeah, started when I was 18, so feels like I've been in the game quite a long time. So okay, so my mission. So I like to, what I'm after is to create high quality bespoke rehabilitation and wellbeing programs, and use very activity based techniques and strength techniques, and looking to bring the training side into it, which I don't think is covered enough. And I'm kind of looking to, yeah, build those pathways and get the body working as one, so connecting the brain and the muscles and everything together, and kind of bringing everything to a meeting point, with like the paralyzed parts or the functioning parts, or anything like that. So it's kind of just trying to bring everything all together at once. So yeah, and yeah, improve the condition, just be stronger, fitter, and more independent is the idea, and that's the goal. More independent we can get, the happier we are, the more mentally stable we are, and it just kind of all bides into one, which is really the goal. My ethos. So these are some little quotes that I use. So I'll just talk you through it. So train it as you see it and as you feel it. So I always feel there's such a wide range of neurological conditions, injuries, and all sorts of things, and it can be quite confusing sometimes. And you get this bit of paper and you get told you can do this and you can't do this and you won't be able to do this and this, but actually everyone's so different, and everyone's so unique in their conditions and their injuries. So it's the ability to look at what you have, look at what you can do, and we'll train it exactly, and we'll still look to push and explore and find new things, but everyone's completely different, and that one falls perfectly into the next one, which is don't compare mountains. And it's a world we live in where everything is put in front of you and everyone's showing their best side, and it's really easy to compare your condition or your injury against someone else's, which is it's not a good thing to do. Everyone's independent, everyone's so different. So take what you've got, and yeah, stop comparing to other people, basically, and use it or lose it. This is an important one. So what we have got and what we've gained, we have to keep using it. We have to keep it stimulated. We have to keep it strong. Otherwise, these things we will get muscle wastage. We'll lose those pathways, or they'll weaken, or we'll start getting tight, or we'll start getting pain in certain areas. So we have to keep loose. We have to keep strong, and we have to use exactly what we have and keep active. And the last one is bridging the gap. So this one goes, this is what I'm trying to do, and it's once you leave hospital, it can be a bit of a lonely place, and there's not loads in between. So trying to bridge that gap between being able to afford a private physio and work at that level, and when you leave hospital. So what I've trying to create is an online bespoke sessions that you can use, that you can work at home or in a local gym with a family member or on your own, whatever it may be. But just trying to bridge that gap. Feel like it's a lonely place to be in, and if we can do that, then everyone's going to be a lot better off for it. Okay, moving on. The importance of strength training. So posture is a huge one. The straighter we can get you, the taller we can get you, whether that's in a sitting position or a standing position, wherever you might be at. It's super important, and this reduces pain. This gets blood flow, and we're moving on to skincare as well. So if we can look after our skin, get the blood flowing around, we're going to be in better condition. And again, muscle tissue. If we can look after our muscle tissue, get it strong, that's going to increase independence as well, which is the overall goal. We're looking to be as independent as possible. And yeah, so keeping everything strong, keeping the blood flow, looking after the skin, good posture, and exploring. Exploring is a great thing. It's not just one size fits all. It's not just this is what you've got. Everyone's got the ability to explore and try new things and get outside your comfort zone. But the another important thing of that is safety as well. So we have to be safe with everything we do. If we're in an exposing position, we must be safe. We must be controlled and have these precautions in place while we're training these positions. So we are moving on. Balance is the first one we're going to go through. So the problem with balance, again, poor posture, positioning, daily habits, and pain and restriction. So all these things can come into our balance and cause us lots of issues. So how are we going to fix that? That's the question. You have to look at my nice little animations, but had fun with this. So this is one of my clients, Marianne. She's actually got a spinal injury, but all these things, again, we take it in terms of your condition, your injury, but this is just a case study that we're going to follow through the whole thing just to give it a bit of context, okay? So this is a high sit position. So when we are sitting, how are we sitting? Are we arching our lower back? A lot of people find they end up actually sitting on their lower back rather than sitting on their bum or like in this upright position. So you can see with Marianne, we've got a supported lumbar position here in the first photo, which is giving her a nice straight back, nice and strong. And then from this, we can really expose ourselves and then work through exercise. This is going to increase our core stability, just daily strength, really, because every time you're in this position, yes, you'll be working certain muscles, but also your core strength and that position, that ability to stay in an upright position, keep that spine straight, and that hip position where we're able to sit on our glutes rather than on our lower back and arching that lower back. That obviously then goes into takes pressure off your spine. That's going to reduce lower back pain, and it's also going to help with blood flow. And again, like I said, functional core movements and everyday activities. Okay, so when we're sitting, we're making sure we're in a nice tall position, and then from there we can do these upper body exercises, we can lift weights, we can move, and this is just going to increase functionality and independence also. Also, if I'm speaking too quick, just tell me, because I know I ratter on. Okay, so this is also the next one. Again, we're using Marianne. So these photos are 6 months apart. So you can see this is a high kneeling position. So again, it's a really exposed, but also really safe position. Just to give context behind this, Marianne has a C-level spinal injury. So realistically, she shouldn't be able to get into these positions, or that's what she's been told, but through exposing positions and lots of core work, we're able to do this. And you can see in the second photo, that we've got the shoulders, the hips and the knees all aligned. So this is another exposing position. The hip position is in a fantastic place. And it's just about getting as straight as possible, reducing that arch, which also reduces your pressure through your back, and we're getting a better core position. So more functionality, more independence. Again, this is a standing position. So take these how you will. But in this, we're using standing implements. So we've got calipers and a standing frame, but also even just general standing is going to be difficult for balancing for a lot of you guys. So, but when we're standing, we're looking at, see the second photo, we've got shoulders, hips and knees all in a line. So that's the position we want to be. If you want to challenge your stand even more, you can go for a split stance. So one foot in front of the other. That'd be a great position, but obviously safety is the key. So in this one, we've got lots of safety precautions. So if we're in these exposed positions, we have to be safe, we have to be careful, because you're more likely to fall. But the ability to get into these positions, stay in these positions, train in these positions is only going to be more functional to you and going to reduce that risk of a fall, because you're challenging your body. If we stay in the same position and like a hunch position or like that seated position we had, you're staying in your lane, which is great, but also we need to expose ourselves, and that's how we're going to grow and improve and reduce the chance of falls and things like that. So plenty of balance drills, but safety is the key. I can't stress that enough. We have to have things like a chair near you to grab onto, or something very close. Okay, so in this Marianne's in a standing frame, so she's very, very safe up there. And then the first photo, we've got hands, we're really close by, and we've also got the ability for her to lean back onto that wedge. Okay, and from these positions, upper body strength, the more back and core work we can do, the better. So good stuff. We're going to move on. So take homes from that, we've got to be in challenging positions, we've got to have a straight spine, our hip alignment's very important, and bespoke exercises. There's not a one size fits all, and I'll keep saying that the whole way through. It's all up to you, and everyone's different, and you can't compare mountains. You can't look at someone else and think that's going to be for me. It's all got to be adapted to you and your personal goals. Okay, so some people, the seated stuff might be perfect, getting into a high position and working out there, that might be enough for the core there. If we want a bit more of a challenge, we can go into a standing or a kneeling position, and then a split stance stand is like a really challenging position, and we can work from there. But the importance is the hip alignment, staying straight, keeping everything in a good position, but also getting outside that comfort zone in a safe space. Dizziness is our next one. Perfect. So the problem with dizziness is blood pressure. So blood pressure drops, we get unbalanced. Safety is obviously an issue, and coordination. So for lots of these things, they kind of all fall into each other, which is a tough one, but let's see how we can fix this. There we go, there's my animation again. Okay, so taking breaks. So when we're doing an exercise or taking ourselves into a new position, so a lot of people, they'll sit down a lot, and then it's like when you come to stand up, it's like we might get dizzy, or if we're in a new position, we might get dizzy, and it's about training yourself into that position. Okay, so spending lots of time there, but also controlled and safe time in that position, but also taking breaks. If you feel dizzy, there's nothing wrong with sitting back down and going back again, letting that blood pressure settle, letting yourself relax, nice controlled breathing, staying in the exercise. You're still going to keep working, you're going to go back up, but also taking all these precautions and making sure we have the ability to do it. So make sure there's somewhere for us to sit back down, or to relax back and lean back, and control our breathing and stay hydrated. They're all so important, and they all add up when it comes down to it. And the more time we can spend in these exposed positions, the less this dizziness is going to get, and the less the more comfortable we're going to feel in these positions. A binder. So binder is a wonderful thing, and it really does help with your blood pressure, kind of squeezes your diaphragm, gives you great core stability, gets you in a nice high position, and it's great to use whilst training. It's not something I'd recommend using constantly because it will switch your core off, but if we struggle with dizzy spells in standing while we're doing exercise and things like that, it's a great tool to use, and it compresses you, gives you good core stability, gets you in a nice straight position, and will give you that extra little bit of time to spend in that that position. It's something that's not, we don't want you wearing it constantly, and if we can get away with not wearing it, fantastic, but it is a tool. And I've written no ego at the bottom because a lot of people don't like wearing them and they think it's like a negative thing, but don't have egos with anything. It's if it's going to benefit us and it's going to get us into a good position where we can train and we can expose ourselves to these positions, then I think it's a great tool. So no egos with it, keep it there, and yeah, you can wean your way off it, and yeah, it's definitely something to look into. Consistency. This is something that I find a lot of people don't do. So if we want to be in a position and we want to train a position, that is something that we need to be consistent with. And it's not just a one-off, it's a couple of times a week. And if we stay consistent and we stay strong with it and we stick to our goal, this is something that we will achieve and we will work towards. So stay consistent, train these positions, and this is what's going to help with our balance, our dizziness, whether that's in seated, kneeling, standing, however you want to do it, in a frame, not in a frame, but we have to stay consistent. If we do it once a month, it's not going to be enough, and it needs to be a regular thing, but also safe. Please be safe. These are really exposing positions, and you are putting your body right to the edge of where it feels comfortable, especially with the balance work. So we have to be safe. We have to be make sure we have these things around us to lean onto if we need to. And again, having that ability to say, you know what, it's time for me to sit down, have a breather, take your time, grab a drink, readjust anything, and then go back up. There's no egos in this. It's just all about getting better, and it's a slow process, but you've got to be consistent with it. Perfect. So the take homes from that, again, take breaks, stay hydrated, safety first, keep breathing, and no egos. Okay, so after all that, any questions or answers, any questions you have, make sure you put them into the group chat, and we'll make sure we answer them at the end. There you go. I'm just going to go back through. Where are we? Sorry, it's just gone funny again. Bum, bum, bum. Lovely. So the importance of training. So when we are training, what we're looking at doing, like I said, we're looking at what we have already, what our goals are, and they need to be very specific to our lifestyle, and they need to be functional towards us. So core is always a great one, and balance, of course, but also getting that back nice and strong, the upper body, and that gives us a good posture. So strength training is something that's missed. I think it's a great tool that we're not really told enough about when it comes to neurological injuries or conditions, and it's something that everyone should be doing at least a couple of times a week, and that's just going to keep you more independent, more confident is more important, and stronger. That's going to give you a way more functional lifestyle, and yeah. So that's me. Any questions you can pop into the chat, These are my contact details also. So my email and the handle to my Instagram page, if you guys are on that. But if not, drop me an email. You can ask me any questions on there at all, or we can just get in touch and have a chat. I love talking. So yeah, so that's all me. That's good.